PAT Louisiana's finest. I say, who that? R.I.P. Tom Benson. Shout out to the whole Who That Nation. Now who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. Ooh, who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. I got that fever, my people. See, we not equal, my people. I'm like that dog saint underneath the steeple, my people. Got Drew Brees, he the feature, and our defense the sequel. The D-line and linebackers, man, they coming to reach em. Make enemies some believers, cause we overachievers. DBC 50-50 balls and we call them keepers. Y'all can follow this leader, cause Sean Payton will teach ya.
Saints Talk listeners, what's up? We back. It's another week of Saints Talk. I'm here. I'm Kevin Washington. I'm here with my guy Nick Underhill from NewOrleans.Football. Nick, what's up?
Nah, man. Saints got the win. It's kind of been a little bit of a weird week. The tone surrounding this game kind of feels like one after a loss a little bit, just because how down people seem to be on different aspects of the performance. But overall, I think it's better to be winning games as you're figuring things out than losing games. And I do think there is a way up from here, but it's up to the team to kind of find it.
So I guess we got to play Narrative Busters today, right? So we'll see.
Before we do that, shout out to Daniel Sant, CPA, sponsoring the show, our title sponsor. Big believer in what we're doing, big supporter in what we're doing. And if you're supporting us and you need taxes done, you got a business, make sure you show love to the people that are supporting us. If you're looking for someone new, if your person isn't servicing you the way you need to be serviced, hit Daniel up. Daniel Sant CPA can help get your finances in order. They provide relevant accounting information, detailed analysis, and clear communication in a timely manner. And I can vouch for all the things that they're saying here. Call them today, 301-832-2765 or santcpa.com.
Check it out, y'all. Check it out. Chat, what's up, chat? Thank you guys for showing up here. Also, just always want to recognize you guys. Let's get straight into some football talks. I wrote quite a few topics, and hopefully we get through them all. But if we don't, then we'll figure it out. So Jameis Winston, what was your take on how he played this game? And as always, guys, I'm gonna preface this: the film study article is up on the site right now. Go check it out. If the film study article has 1,000 words, I may go to 10 or 15, but we're just going to play the top of it. But go check that out. Nick put a lot of work in there. And this time he actually went position by position and just broke down what guys did what and who played what and how they did this and where they did who. Check it out. It's a good read. I highly recommend it. And happy birthday, Paul, too, a supporter of NewOrleans.Football. So, Nick, Jameis Winston, how did he look? Do we need a new quarterback? What's going on?
I still think it's a little bit complicated to kind of do that analysis because you look at everything on offense outside of Alvin Kamara and it's not good. I mean, the offensive line isn't good. The receivers aren't good. I mean, just nothing is good right now. The tight ends aren't good. The running game is good, and they got that going for them. I thought the first half that there was some good, some bad. I mean, the throw to Troutman, triple coverage was bad. The touchdown pass, probably a bad decision, but that's one of those plays where, and I'm not defending the decision. I'm just saying that's one of those plays where if the narrative around you as a quarterback is different, you can get away with one of those wild plays and you're brilliant. If Drew Brees does that, he's brilliant. If Patrick Mahomes does that, he's brilliant. If Jameis Winston does it, it's not brilliant. If Peyton Manning does it during his rookie year when he's, throwing 28 interceptions, it's not brilliant. If Peyton Manning does it in 2012, it's a brilliant throw. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But Jameis is at that point where he's got to show he's not doing those things. And those are the things you don't want to see him doing. And so when it happens, the coach looks mad at him when he walks off the field instead of, if it was Breeze, maybe Sean's got a little smirk on his face and like, hey, you got away with one. Right, with Jameis, it's, you're lucky you got away with
CJ
one.
Was mad. I've never seen Carmichael look mad ever. He had a little weird look on his face. Sean had that picture, you know, the year he was suspended, that big poster, same face coming off the sideline. So do you think he deserves the benefit of the doubt? Like, should they be looking at Jameis as
No,
like,
not yet. Not
I'm
yet.
with
He
you.
hasn't earned that yet. I mean, and look,
Right.
that's just kind of where it's at. He's the one that says that he's working on his decisions and all that. That's not me putting it on him. That's him saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to be decision based. It's
Yep.
not about the result. It's about the decision. So that's what he said. So that's the standard you hold him to. And,
Yep.
you know, I think there was some good within it. You know, the second half, though, they threw 6 passes and it was almost like the offense got hesitant. And maybe that's okay. I don't know. They were being coached in that game not to commit turnovers, protect the ball, be safe with everything. But there were a couple in the second half where it just kind of felt like, man, this guy, like, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And like, it just didn't come out on a couple plays. And you know, I just think there was maybe a little hesitancy there in the second half. You know, I just think it's going to be weird, man. It's going to be a little process. Everyone's got to settle in. You're 3 games into this thing. Could get better, could get worse. I mean,
so do you
we'll
think
see.
like his in you know, you brought up something that I just, you know, I want to dig a little bit more into because, you know, all during the week, Coach Payton, you know, I mean, I don't know, he was yelling from the top of the mountain about this turnover stat with New England and them playing at home. And you know, he preached that to the team. If he told the general public and the guys who was reporting on the team and during interviews, you know, he said it to the team. So do you think that had something to do with him not pulling the trigger on some of those throws?
Probably,
Or you
yeah.
just think
Probably,
okay.
yeah. And then you have this throw at the end of the, you know, the first half, and they're probably telling him like, man, you don't do that. You know, don't do anything crazy.
Right.
Like just protect the ball. We'll win this game. Protect the ball. Don't turn it
Yeah.
over. Defense is playing good. Running game's working. Got the lead. We don't need you to win us this game. We just need you not to lose it.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that's what they were telling him at a certain point. That's probably what they told him going into it. Then you get the lead and you try to establish it. And
Yeah.
look, that mentality was perfectly reflected in some of the decisions early in the first half, running on like 3rd and 16 or whatever it was, trying to preserve the field goal. He misses the field goal, but it showed you that in those situations, they were just trying to protect the ball, preserve points. They weren't pushing for 7. Hey, we'll get 3 here, and that's good enough because we aren't going to turn the ball over. And the Patriots aren't a team built to win, and they aren't. I don't look at them as a team that's built to come out and offensively win you game. They're a team that's, you know, sort of similar to how the Saints are right now. That you're riding the other aspects, and you're kind of built just to not make mistakes and not lose.
You feel like the Saints are winning and playing like the Patriots want to,
Yeah,
right?
no,
On
I
some
think so.
levels.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. And you know, there's going to be games where the difference is I think once everybody's out there, like the Saints probably are better built to win games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, at this point though, they're extremely limited, and
Man.
we'll see what they're going to be, man. It's just, I think everything on offense is out of order right now. You know, someone said put respect on Deontay Harris's name. I don't mean anything disparaging to any individual player when I say like the receiver. I just mean like as a collective, the receiver group isn't
They're
good
not,
enough right
they're
now.
not good. They're not good.
Harris is the only one that like consistently gets open, and
Yeah.
you know, just he's not someone though that I think you can't say, hey, we're going to go out here and target you 10 times and get hard yards. You know, that's not his game. What he does, though, he does extremely well.
Does well.
It's
He
good
does
to see
well.
Callaway come to life a little bit in this game after, you know,
He made a few
really
plays.
not.
He made a few plays.
Yeah, it needs to be, you know, keep showing up.
Consistent.
Offensive line is bad, though. I mean, it's just everything on offense is it's just not, it's the opposite of what it is on defense. I mean, it just really is at this point.
Yeah. And, you know, and to that point, I'm trying to figure out how to, right? I'm trying to like play devil's advocate here, but like how much of the offense how much of the struggles that the offense is, you know, that they're having, like do you think it's like, I mean, it's not one thing, right? But like if someone just asked me to buckle it down to one thing, I'm like, they're just not in rhythm, right? It's like they're running one play and then they're running one play and then they're running one play. It doesn't feel like things are playing off each other. It doesn't seem like Jameis has a rhythm. Like you don't see him, like if he completes the ball, first down, then it's run again, right? So it's like he's not getting into a rhythm. The receivers are not, there's not enough passes for a receiver to get into it. Just feels like everything is just kind of like static and they're just running a bunch of plays, but it doesn't feel like they're like chaining them together like you've seen the Saints do. That's just kind of like something that I kind of see when I look at the offense.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, I think that's to be expected, even if everybody was out there. You know, it's kind of like if you got the same conductor running a symphony, and the symphony's built around a violinist, and the violinist is there for 15 years, and you just fill in everything around this guy to make your harmony come together. You're probably going to have a lot easier time finding that harmony every year. But when you take out that violinist and you're trying to create a new identity, it's going to be hard. And then, you aren't recruiting the same band members to go around them. You aren't getting the greatest saxophonist in the world because they want to play with this violinist. It's just a little bit different. And they're going to get there. I mean, look, Alvin Kamara is still an amazing player. It's interesting to see him running against 8-man boxes and succeeding. It isn't really something that he's done a lot, and I'm not surprised that he's succeeding. It's just that really hasn't been necessarily his game. And I'm watching these games like, man, let Tony Jones take some of them hits. Like, just back off on it a little bit. But look, maybe
that's just a couple of times.
Yeah, maybe that's just who they got to be now. I think when Mike Thomas comes back, that's obviously going to make things easier on the quarterback, and it's going to make the quarterback more comfortable. That's an easy throw. That's a guy that's open consistently. And I think Traquan Smith, again, whenever that happens, I think it's going to help too.
Man. I'm at the point now where I'm looking forward to Traquan. I'm like, man, where is he? Like, we need him, right? I'm looking at Nick Van Nett, like, come on. Like, anything that you can get injected into this offense, right? I'm looking at just anywhere where those guys can get a boost. So yeah, I'm with you.
We got people asking, like, when will they know the identity of the offense? Like, that's not something you're going to know right now. I mean, Bill Belichick says it takes until Thanksgiving to know what he has with his team every year. And you're in upheaval. You don't have all your pieces. I mean, there's reasons to have doubt, and there's reasons to think this can get better than it is. We don't know what it is yet. And anybody that wants to have like a hard opinion, like, it's just
don't have it.
You can't right now. It's just not. You're still in a fact-finding mission at this point.
Yeah. So, and let me pump the brakes, right? Because I want to change the energy a little bit here, because, man, it sounds like the Saints are 0-3.
Yeah, they're not. It does. It is. Listen, it's weird.
I just want to put this out there. And Nick, if I start saying some BS, if I start talking crazy, unrepresentative of NewOrleans.Football, turn my camera off. But listen, these guys just got home a couple of days ago. They just finished training camp, pretty much, right? They haven't been home, right? Injuries all over, right? Hurricane, like, they're dealing with more than any team is dealing with by a factor of probably 3, 4, or 5, right? And they're 2-1. If someone would have told me, hey, you're going to have a week with 8 coaches out, COVID, you're one of your best pass rushers, Onyemata's out 6 games, Mike's not there, Traquan's not there, one of the tight ends are not there, man, I can keep going, right? And you're going to be 2-1. I'd have signed up for that before you finish your sentence, right? So I got to give the team a little bit of credit, because the fact that they're 2-1 right now after everything they've dealt with, I just think that's like, it's something to be said about that, right? And I want to recognize it, because it's like, man, people acting like they're 0-3. So yeah, anyway, I just want people to just look at it like from a different, and listen, you're right. We're not saying Jameis is playing perfect. Listen, he's struggling in areas.
He's got to be better.
Yeah, he's got to be better. The O-line is struggling, the wide receivers. But listen, it's a lot easier to fix this stuff when you're winning, right? And Coach Payton says that all the time.
I don't know if it's easier to fix it, but it's better to be fixing it when you're winning.
It's better to be fixing it. Yeah, that's true. There you go. And so
if you can fix it. I mean, we're still at the point where it
might not be fixable, right? Yeah. It might not. They may be a flawed team, but give it time, right? And that's, because I kind of like been paying attention to like the energy of the team. And listen, it's like a lot of losing teams out there who they don't care how they win. They just want to win. And me personally, like, I don't think in 2 years you're going to say, man, that was an ugly 2-1. It's just going to be like you're 2-1. I think Coach Payton talks about like the loss to Carolina. He said no one's going to, in the history books, they're not going to talk about how we lost that game and the circumstances around the loss. They're just going to say we lost, right? And so anyway, that's my rant. It's all Nick from here on out, guys. But like I said, I think the energy just, I just think it could be shifted a little bit in a different direction. And hey, like, I just saw someone saying, Chad, the Chiefs are 1-2, right? So look at it like that.
Here's the thing. Like, they could, if something materialized where they could go get a wide receiver, I would advocate for doing that. Obviously, I think it's something that would help now and help later, and you get deeper at that position. Good as we see, something always happens. These guys, Traquan misses time, consistently,
every
and
year pretty much.
that's the thing. So he could come back and get hurt. Mike Thomas has missed a lot of time. He could come back and get hurt again. So if you have another guy, that's great. Here's the thing though, like they're in a position, they're 2-1. They're going to play the Giants. They're going to play Washington. I think those are both winnable games with what they have on offense. Having more on offense for those games would help.
Yep.
But if you can get through those games, you can win those games, get to the bye.
Ooh.
You could have Mike Thomas, Traquan Smith, Marcus Callaway is your 1, 2, 3. Deontay Harris is your changeup. Kenny Stills in the mix. That's not a horrible receiver core.
And that's 5 games, right? That'd be 5 games. And Onyemata, does he come back after week 6? Man, I forgot to actually.
I think Onyemata suspended for 6 games. PUP is 6 weeks.
Okay, there we go. All right, because I was like, man, I feel like I'm off. So Onyemata comes back the week after Mike, if Mike returns. Like, all right, okay. Cool.
And the craziest thing about that whole timetable is that, like, I was, the PR guys sent out the schedule today, and I hit one of them like, man, it's like it feels like this is week 1 of the season, just because like how weird everything's been. It doesn't even feel like the season started. It's just kind of like, there's been so much going on that like there wasn't ever this moment where it's like, oh, the NFL season started. It's there's a hurricane. Oh, they're in Dallas. Oh, they're away. This feels like week 1 of the NFL season. So
Bro,
we'll see. We'll see, man.
Bro, I think this dome. I think they might have to like just tighten up some screws after Sunday. It's gonna be loud. Bro, listen, it's gonna be loud. They're gonna have to tighten some. It's gonna be some seats that need to be replaced.
Bro, I quit a whole job, and I was like, man, it's gonna be awesome to go back in the dome. Like, there's nothing like being at a Saints game, and like, I haven't gotten that yet. I've been waiting for it. I started this whole.
That's right.
Right. I haven't even had like a game with fans since I started. I quit this job, and I swear to God, like one of the things I was like, man, the atmosphere is so great. I cannot wait to be sitting in there for a game. It's just like, it's gonna feel good, like just to kind of be back where it feels like I belong. And
you could feel the energy from the couch, man. Sometimes from the dome. And listen, I've been to in my life, I think 3 Saints games. I think it's the exact number. Man, when it's loud in there. I mean, it's nothing like being in there. It's totally different. No. You're deaf for 3 days. I don't know how you can hear me right now, but whatever. But it's just you can still feel it from the TV, man. And like I kind of feel like I'm about to watch a playoff game. I think they're gonna kick the Giants' ass, to be honest with you. I think them dudes are gonna be fired up. I just do. It's impossible to not be tired after training camp. And then your training camp doesn't end because you go somewhere else and you stay in training camp, and then your home game is somewhere else and you play 2 road games. I don't see how it's human nature to not take your foot off the gas at some point. Maybe that's what happened in Carolina. I don't know, but I know if it was me, I'd probably be tired. I get tired sometimes, and sometimes I take my foot off the gas. You know?
Look, I don't know how it affected them, and I can't say that like it's an excuse for anything or anything like that. But look, I can just say from my own experience, you leave, you're out there, you're stuck there for an indefinite period of time.
Yeah.
With training camp, at least it's like, okay, I'm in West Virginia for 23 days and you're counting them down, 22, 21. This situation is like, am I going back? And then you're sitting there wondering what's going on back where you live. Is your car
house
okay? Is your house okay? You don't know. You don't have answers to things. It's a hard situation to be in. And it's mentally taxing. It's emotionally taxing. Yeah. I mean, those first couple of days sitting there just kind of watching the news. I mean, it's frustrating. It's heartbreaking. You don't know what's going on. You can't do anything to help. It was a real tough situation. And, I don't know how it affects, but we're all human. So I'm assuming the human experience for everybody here was pretty similar. And, these players care about the community the same way that I care about the community, that anybody cares about their community. Even if, some of them only live here for 6 months, like there's love between this team and this city. And, to see it hurt, and that hurts you. And then you're away, and it's just tough, man. So, I mean, for them to kind of get back, I think there's going to be just like a mental and emotional burden. Now, as Peyton talks about all the time, hey, like, hopefully they get all the stuff they got to handled and it gets dealt with. I mean, there's going to be stuff, people coming back to crazy things. I came back, my AC's broke. It's something you got to deal with. And, that's a distraction from.
I was there for you, bro. I was there for you.
Oh man, that killed me. Coming back, you got the Rona, your AC's broke. Man, that's a bad situation. That's something I wanted to deal with. I almost broke that day, man. Like
Man,
I was about to mentally, like I was snapping. It was bad.
Man.
But they're all good. They're back. I
Welcome
think
back,
it's going to
man.
help. I think
Welcome
people are
back.
going to settle in, and they can get their season started. Really, it's just so weird that like they've been through this for 3 weeks,
And they're 2-1. That's the crazy part. They're a winning team after all of this. So, all right, let's get
even
back
without this, if getting to 2-1, that was what you wanted them to do. But the only thing is that the loss would, you're like, okay, they're going to lose
to
they're
Green
going to
Bay,
lose to Green Bay, and then they're going to win the next two,
or maybe lose to the Pats. Right? The thing was like you get to 2-2 or something. I remember the early talk. It was like if you can get to 2-2 with the Pats and then Green Bay, then you're happy. And if you get to 2-1, then you're like, wow,
Yeah, it was like 3-3 was kind of the thing we talked about. Yeah,
exactly.
Then you
and
get Onyemata back and everything gets rolling. And
right.
3-3 is extremely achievable. And I think really you're looking at it now like they should be 4-2 after 6 games. If that Seattle game is going to be tough, but they should beat New York. They should beat Washington.
Seattle's not good, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
they got a good quarterback.
You go to Seattle, it's a tough atmosphere. It's a long road trip. I mean, it's just
I just know that defense.
They could beat them. Yeah, they could beat them. Yeah, they could definitely beat them.
Yeah,
they get their offense going a little bit. They could beat them.
Yeah, I mean, they went in there with Teddy a couple of years ago and just shut down shop, right? And so, but yeah, I just
defense they can beat anybody. I mean, honestly,
that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, and listen, I think every week they're gonna say, man, look, let's just not beat ourselves. Like I just think that's the formula. This is the best defense I don't want to make the hot take on week 3, but this looks like a really good defense. I'm gonna just leave it at that. And they look like a really good defense without some of their dogs. I mean, like the best defensive lineman on the team is not playing. David Onyemata. So I just think that I just feel like the defense is I don't know if I've seen one like this before, and I think that just gives you a chance to win. Now, how far can you go in the playoffs? That's a different ball game. But I think week in, week out, I think they just have a chance. So, all right. Hopefully, we talk you guys off the edge a little bit. We're gonna get back into some analysis type football instead of taking you guys out of like football therapy. So, yeah. One thing I just want you to maybe elaborate a little bit on. This notion Ramczyk. People, some comments. Whatever, people say what they said and their opinion is valid because it's theirs. But how do you think he played this game? What do you think of some of the narrative out there? And
you talking about Ramczyk?
Yeah, Ryan Ramczyk.
I thought he played a good game.
All right, enough said.
He gave up 1 sack. Other than that, I thought he played well. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion. I'm not saying anyone's opinion is wrong. I'm not saying
right. Yep.
My analysis of what they're supposed to be doing on the scheme is right and somebody else's is wrong. I just, I know.
Yeah.
What I saw and what I believe.
Certain things are right and certain things are wrong.
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just saying the things that I saw and I thought were that he played well. I mean, I thought he did his job pretty well in this game.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things that I thought happened that put him in a bad spot. And I wouldn't say like Throckmorton's playing bad. I'm just saying there's times where he's out there where it looks like he's settling in and getting used to what he's doing, and things happen. I think he's doing a good job in the role that he's been thrust into, and I think he's succeeding more often than not. But there's some plays where some spillover, or there's maybe a stunt that isn't picked up, and Ramczyk's got to pick it up, and now there's a guy coming off the edge, and now he's got 2 guys to deal with, and there's the immediate threat inside and the delayed threat outside, and you're trying to deal with 2 things at once. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the situations that he's ended up in, and I think he's handling it pretty well. I mean, I think he's playing good. I think he was touching like a ridiculous level, like 18, 19. Maybe you aren't like hitting this like absurdly consistent level, but I think that those lines as a whole were more absurdly consistent. And I think there's an element too of and not just for him, for everybody. When you go into a game and the QB's holding the ball 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 seconds on average, as opposed to
5.67 on one of them.
I mean, like that's the average time to throw. Like every game it's over 3. Like, and they can block that long, but when you're blocking that long versus 2.3, 2.5,
and Drew gets the ball out, and that's another thing. Like
that's
I think
thing.
Good quarterbacks.
He threw 2.3, 2.5 seconds. Like you aren't blocking very long.
Mm-hmm. And good quarterbacks make O-lines look better. That's because good quarterbacks elevate the play of players around them. Tampa Bay O-line was 2019 not as good as it was 2020, and they only added one player, right? Because the play got elevated by Tom Brady. That's what Drew Brees, as good as Teron is, man, he's hurt. But anyway, he makes him a better player just because he elevates everybody. And when you don't have that, yeah, I mean, and I think Ram probably last year and a half, started this year, maybe even some last year. He wasn't hitting that peak Ram level that we've seen, but I think there's about 30 teams in the NFL that'll take a Ram check off our hands if we looking to, give out a little charity. So
yeah, and look, the thing is with Breeze's 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 seconds every year, that isn't like there's 55 plays where he held the ball for 4 seconds for deep shots, and then that's offset by just every play was that fast. Like every single play was that fast.
Yeah.
Like, the average wasn't like, well, there's these plays and these plays, so they bring it down. No, like there just weren't long plays. Like you just didn't have to block that long.
Didn't have to block that long.
Yeah, and it changes things a little bit.
And then the quarterback is going to be where you expect him to be too. And I think that's something to it. Like with Drew, if the structure of the play isn't there, he's figuring out a way to get rid of the football. That's just him. Hey, check's not there. Boom, next play. Right. And so when guys hold the ball longer and they scramble, now you're running to the pass rush. You got a guy blocked and you've done your job. And now the quarterback scrambles to your side, and now the defender can just lift his, he can just extend his arm and get to you or slow you down. So there's a lot of things that just go into what you see from O-line is the hardest that's the hardest position group to like monitor. In my opinion, it's hard to like know what calls are and stuff like that. So I would just always, say exercise a little caution when, just talking about those guys. But, like I said, everybody got their opinion and I respect it. One guy I think it is fair to maybe criticize a little bit more is, the center spot. I think there's been some struggles there. So I don't want to go into what he's doing wrong and all that other stuff. That's in the film study article. But like, do you think, I know Will Clapp, I think he comes off IR. Or he
he's eligible to.
He might. All right. And then they signed Austin Reeder. So
yeah,
it's just I kind of wonder, and I don't know if you're going to create another problem by bringing another guy to like try to do the protections, but it just seems like he's been preparing to play one position. Like he started as center in whole college career, gets to the NFL, now he's got to be a guard. Then one guy gets hurt, now he got to be a center. So it just seems like maybe.
He's had a hard road, no doubt about it. He's had a hard road, and I think that has to be kept in context when you're talking about his struggles. I think you can say he's struggling, but I think there needs to be some like empathy towards like sort of the circumstances that put him in this position to where maybe he's not succeeding to the point he should be. And I thought he had a good camp. I thought he had a good preseason. I thought he was playing really well at that.
Yeah,
guard. We'll see. We'll see if he ends up back there if that's where it's at. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely been some hardships to this point, and I think you got a new guy next to him too. That probably doesn't help. I mean, it's just I don't know, man. Things are just not coming together like they should on that offensive line, and I just don't know what it's going to take to get it back into position. If Clapp comes back, Peyton did mention early on, if Clapp was healthy. He would have been the guy he went with first at center and kept Ruiz where he was at. So maybe if Clapp's ready, you get there.
And you go back to back to your position.
Everyone keeps mentioning Reeder. I think he would have to. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough decision. Does it get better with the protections and the line calls and everything? Putting a new guy in there, starting over. I guess he's been around for 2 weeks now, so maybe that's enough time to figure it out. And you go in there, and you can kind of get acclimated with everything.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it's a rough situation, and it's something that they kind of gotta, they gotta figure it out though, because it just can't keep up like this. Like it has to get better.
It has to get better. Yeah, because I do think Jameis is playing under duress in a lot of. And one thing I do know, and I'm just trying to like throw a little olive branch out to Jameis Hive because we had a little rocky Sunday, but it's still all love. Relationships have ups and downs, but you always start with love. But I do think that the longer a quarterback plays under duress, the lower the worse his play is, right? And that's for Hall of Fame type quarterbacks too,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen Brady duck from ghosts, man.
There you go.
That was a thing for
And it was
a
real, right?
while.
It
Yeah.
was real, right?
Yeah. No, he definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And he lost the Super Bowl running from ghosts against the Giants. And the Saints blew him out last year because he was, but so yeah, so I will say Jameis he's not in the ideal situation. I'm gonna be honest with you. He doesn't have weapons and the O-line is struggling to block. And that's just not a good situation for any quarterback, but he does have a defense. And I just hope he knows he doesn't need to like force things. So
yeah, the
okay.
mistakes he's made have been when someone has their hands on him and he's trying to avoid the sack or something. So the more you keep him out of those situations, the better you'll be. And I think that at some point you hope that he can rewire that and he doesn't make those decisions. But if you can help him by limiting the amount of times those can happen, I mean, obviously it's going to be better. I don't think Jameis is like seeing ghosts or speeding himself up or anything. That's the funny thing. Like on 98% of these plays, like I think he handles pressure extremely well, and those are some of his most impressive moments. The way he climbs the pocket, some of the throws he makes when someone has their hands on him, like the same things that make him look great, or it gives him the confidence to get in these situations and think he can make something happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's kind of where you got to toe that line. Like,
don't
take away the thing that makes him special, but you got to cut it off before it ends up in this area where you're making risky plays instead of the amazing. Like someone asked Big Rob on Twitter, he asked the difference between the touchdown pass to Juwan Johnson and the one to Marquez Callaway, because they're both kind of similar. Jameis is in the pocket. Someone's got their hands on him. He throws the ball.
Yeah. I think someone brought that up to me too.
Yeah, the Juwan Johnson play, the difference is he's I believe the word's perpendicular, up and down to the ground. He throws it and then he gets taken down. Guy had his hands on him, but he like kind of fought through it and got the pass out before he started going down. On Callaway, he's parallel to the ground as the ball comes out. And I think that's where the difference is. And it's as you're going down, that's tenths of a second between making a throw that looks visually safe versus a throw that looks extremely risky.
Yeah.
If he gets that out like just at the top before coming down, before you yell timber, that's a great throw. Like and he's getting it in there, safe. Like anywhere between the post and Callaway, like there was a gulf of space. And James said he was throwing it away, but let's say he wasn't throwing it away and he saw that gulf of space.
Yeah, okay.
And he was trying to get the ball in there. Like there was an extreme area to put the ball into. But it's just you're going back then, and then as you're going back, that target is pulling it back. The ball sails to the left instead of going to the right where you probably want it to go. And now you're in trouble, and
you're in trouble.
That's the difference. That's it's just such a small window between praise and scoring
and scoring. Yeah. I think you brought it up. Yeah, just one he was trying to throw away, and I would say another difference between the two is one he could see the receiver. And the other one he couldn't.
I think he saw Callaway.
I think he knew where Callaway was going to be, but when he threw that ball, I don't think he saw Callaway. He was when he threw the ball, he couldn't even see over the O-line at that point. Like I took a screenshot of like when he actually released the ball. Like he didn't release the ball like when he was upright. Like he was pretty much like playing. What's the game when you go up under the thing? You put a
limbo.
Limbo, yeah, he was playing limbo, and that's pretty much the position he was in when he threw it. So, but yeah, it just I mean, look, man,
I think he's I don't know. I'll see it. I'll have to look at it again. I believe he saw him get inside on John Jones.
Maybe he did.
I think he knew there was like 6 yards of open space between Callaway and the goalpost, and it was. You look at it and there's so much area to put that ball into. And I think he was trying to put the ball in there and he got pulled back and then the ball goes backwards and Callaway has to go the opposite direction to make the catch. But again, he says he was throwing it away. So I don't know. But if he wasn't throwing it away and he was trying to put it in that window, I understand the thought process to think that you have that. I don't understand it though. Once you're going down, just eat it. Just eat it and take the point.
He was like, all the way tackled. He was just like, no, I'm not taking this sack. Oh man. But yeah, I thought I had the video on my phone, but the video I had was the video of Sean and I think it was Coach Curry and Carmichael like not even like, looking at him when he went to the sidelines. But yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on because we are. Let's see how we doing. Yeah, we got a few more topics here. So let's run through.
There was like a Tampa game, I think, game 04 or 14 or 15, like where Breeze threw 2 interceptions, doing the same thing in the same game.
Breeze, listen, no disrespect to the legend. Breeze has had some atrocious interceptions in his career, bro. He's had some bad ones.
No question.
Like he's had some ones. I was like, what the hell is Drew thinking right now? Because that throw was whack, man. So that's why, like, I try to, and when I talk about, like, say the Jameis throw this past Sunday, I was like, that's a horrible throw, and it was like, oh, everyone criticized every throw he makes. I said, no. I said that was a horrible throw. No S behind the throw, singular. Ooh, all right, it's thundering. Yeah, it was. I was just like, I'm just analyzing plays, right? And I haven't even, like, publicly. I've said some stuff to you in private, but publicly, I haven't taken a stance on him because I don't think it's fair yet. I think just get a guy time. Get the, Teron's hurt, Marshawn, guys. Traquan is out, Mike is out. Just let it get in, and he's in the new offense, right? It's just, I don't know, man. Just let it. We don't have to rush to make a decision on the guy, right?
We'll analyze it as it goes along. Yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of people, like, I made a sarcastic tweet the other day about how there's, like, extremists on both sides. Like, and these are, like, the 2 most polarizing quarterbacks in the league. If they aren't the 2, they're both in the top 5. And the Taysom people want you to bury Jameis right away. And the Jameis people don't want you to say anything about anything. Although I think that there's some fairness from most of them. There's an admission of, like, okay, a couple bad things happen. But I'm not taking a stance on anything yet.
It's not necessary.
I'm just sorry. Like, that's just not how I do anything. Like, no one's gonna give me a certificate, or we aren't gonna get 500 more people signing up for the site if we declare today anything on Jameis, and that stance is still holding true in December.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna care. But if I rush to a take before I feel confident in it,
credibility, bro.
Yeah, you just don't do it. You just don't do it. So we'll analyze it as it goes along. We'll say which games are good, which games are bad, which throws are good, which throws are bad, and then at a certain point, when there's enough there, you'll say something.
And let me tell you how I know you're telling the truth, listeners. I tweeted something, and Nick was like, "Delete the tweet or Ian," and I was just like, "Ooh." Get that up out of here. Speech to text not working that way on today, bro. Don't be holding Ian over my head. I was like, oh man.
He's always catching strays on the spot. He bet on
Ian be catching all the strays, bro. Ian catches like strays, like he be putting himself in the way though. Ian deserves every stray he catches. Shout out to Ian, man. That's one.
They aren't even strays with him. He's lucky more don't count, honestly.
It's like targeted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're bullies to Ian.
No question.
Just call it what it is. You're a bully to me. I'm a bully to Ian, and you're a bully to everybody else. And the boss is a bully to you. I got in trouble for doing something early, bro. Like, I was just like, man, my guy Nick, I see why he be coming at my neck.
Look, I'll say this about the whole quarterback thing. I feel a little bit better about the back and forth narrative in training camp, because this is kind of what we saw. There'd be like an amazing day, and then a down day, and then kind of a middle day, and that's just kind of how camp went. And it wasn't. You never got that momentum.
Yeah.
And this is what we were seeing in camp. Like, there was ups and there were downs, and it was just the ups and downs were enough to where you're just like, the door's open to some extent, and if this other guy gets on a hot streak, the door's open. And Jameis was always a little bit ahead, but like he just had enough. He had enough, valleys within that.
Just a little bit. Wait. Did you say Ian Book?
Jameis and Taysom.
Oh, my bad.
But that's just kind of how it went. And this is what we saw in camp, and now I think it's on display.
It's
now.
happening.
That preseason game in week 1 is just like, man, like, was I seeing things wrong? And now it's just kind of like, all right, this is what was happening. Yeah,
it's back.
But I do think receivers matter to some degree. They do.
Yeah, no, they do. Absolutely. All right, real quick, Cam had a good game. This game, I thought maybe you could make case that was his best game this year. Here's what I'll say though, and just correct me if you disagree. I think he's still getting pressures. I don't think the quality of his pressures are the same as they were like in his prime, because your prime is your absolute best. But I still think he's a good football player. I think he's, good, definitely in the run. He's always going to be good against the run, I feel like. But I feel like with his pass rush, I feel like the quality of his pressures they're just not like what you used to get from him. But you could still see like a pretty good player and someone who's like an asset to the team when you watch him play.
I thought he had some good pressures in this game. There were a few. I thought there were a few. He got a couple of hits. He got his hands on the QB a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's kind of like he had a lot of pressures in this game, and then there were some that were better than others. So it's kind of
Right.
like when someone puts out like a 22 track album, and you're like, if he cut this down to 11, like it would have been amazing. But if he, I think if you trimmed out some of the pressures in this game and you just kept like the pristine one, like I think there was some quality there.
Yeah, I think that's the point I'm making. Like, because I remember there was games where if Cam had 8 pressures, they were like 8 almost sacks. Like it was just consistently like just beating up on tackles. And I guess I guess that's the point I'm making. Like he has some that are like, okay, that's Cam, and then some is like, okay, well, I could remember him getting there like a step earlier, like in other years. Which I don't think that's negative at all. I think he's still a really good football player.
I think he takes too much criticism, no doubt. I think he's still a very good player,
and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Like he's still good.
Yeah, he's still good. Yeah,
and they need him.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was in. I mean, I could think of 2 plays off the top where he'd be he's extremely close to having at least 2 sacks this season, and maybe that turns for him and they start coming. Maybe they don't, and it's a 8, 9, 10 sack season. An 8, 9, 10 sack season is still a really good season. It's just not. It's not 15, 16, 17.
Right.
Yeah. So I still think he's that type of player. People kind of act like he can't play, and I disagree with that. I mean, that's like the guy that was out there on the field had extreme value for the Saints defense. And
a lot.
Yeah. If you took him out of that game, I don't know if you have the same defensive result. I think it allows Mac Jones to settle in a lot more and do some different things. So, yeah, I mean, I can understand the conversation. Like, is this, can he still, until he shows it, it's, he's 3 games, no sacks. Can he hit 16? People asking that. Yeah, that's a fair question. But like the conversation of, he can't play no more.
That's a little wild.
I'm just not with that. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Well, apparently thus far this season, Cam Jordan can't play anymore. Ramczyk isn't good, and Alvin Kamara is lazy. So
yeah, it's been wild.
Some wild takes.
It's been wild.
But I'll tell you who we don't have any questions about. DeMario Davis. Man, like what's going on with this dude, man? How?
He's the best player on the team.
I think Marshawn is the only other guy right now I could.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Marshawn.
Alvin's in there. I mean, Alvin's in there too, obviously.
I'd say Marcus is like looking at everybody saying, like, don't forget about me back here playing the post. But DeMario right now, I mean, oh, bro, like he's in coverage. He's blitzing. He's playing a run. He's wearing the nice suits. He's getting people worked up before the game. I just think that.
You just say he's wearing suits?
Yeah, man, he's doing everything right. He's got the right suit on. He's giving the right speech. He's making the right tackles. Everything is hitting for my man.
There might not be anybody in America that can pull off like a purple suit better than him.
Right.
Like he comes out in some stuff that like other people they can't even look at. Some of the stuff he wears, like most people gotta walk by it and like it works.
Yeah.
The man's got swag on another level.
He got swag. I mean, people got different kinds of. You got like the Cam Jordan swag. You got like the $600 Kobe's sneakers swag. You got DeMario Davis. I'm just saying like random people, not anyone in particular. Sure. Right? I'm just saying like he just got he got his own type. Oh man. Anyway, I just want to give DeMario his flowers because man, he's fun to watch. He's fun.
Man, he's amazing. He's playing amazing right now. He's in a
bruh. How do you let him out your building? Like that's why bad teams stay bad. Like
you can cut everybody off the list on free agent signings. It's Drew, it's DeMario, and I don't need to talk about anybody else in that conversation.
1 and 2, and I think
there's nobody else in the 1 and 2 conversation.
He passed Jabari. Yeah, I think
it's a race for 3, no question.
Yeah,
it's a race for 3.
He's man. That dude. It's funny. Like I'm a defensive line guy. Everyone knows I always watch defensive lines. I was just staring at him the whole time, like watching him play. I'm like, okay, what is he about to do? Like,
well, here's the thing about DeMario. You aren't staring at it. He makes you stare at him.
yeah, well, because the last play
He
he did
catches
something
your
crazy.
attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, he's just so good, man. It's like he makes decisions so fast that you could tell like he's just seeing the game like in the Matrix. Right. I just think I just saw someone say Vilma. Vilma was a trade, not a free agent signed up. Signing. I think DeMario's better at this point, but we can get into that another time. I'm the biggest Vilma fan, but I think DeMario's a better player. Because Vilma wasn't like a good run player, and he wasn't like a dynamic blitzer. But he was better in coverage than DeMario. But DeMario can blitz and play the run. He's a complete linebacker, and I just think the Saints haven't had like a linebacker that does everything like that at that level since Son's been here. Just like every single thing. He checks every box on the field, off the field, run, pass, blitz, suits, hair, speeches. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I want this man to have a weakness. I just would I don't know, man. He's just a perfect human being. I'm glad he's a Saint.
I'm just gonna let you talk. I know better than to say anything about guys that were on the Super Bowl team. So I'm just gonna let you talk.
Oh man. Hey, look, man. I'm your shield. Man.
I'm just not gonna speak.
Yeah, I gotta fall so you can fly. That's how this thing works. You know the vibes. All right. So how did your homie do? How did his first game turn out? Come on,
talking
man.
about?
Oh, you know what we talking about. Come on, don't play with
What are we
me.
talking about?
We talking about number 20. Talking about
I thought he played pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought he played pretty good. I mean, no conclusions or anything, but I thought he played pretty good. He had really good moments in coverage, and he was someone that you had to watch because the ball really wasn't coming his way. It came his way. He was covering Jacoby Myers, a wide receiver, out of the slot on an out route, and the coverage was solid.
Yeah.
Pass wasn't great. The pass could have beat the coverage, but the coverage was good enough that the play wasn't going anywhere if it was on point, which is a win for a linebacker on a wide receiver. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other pass that came his way, it was a pass in the flat. He saw it, crashed down, made the play really quickly.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it was a game where you had to look for him, and I thought his coverage was good. He looked good in man, covered a couple wheel routes really well. And the Patriots got some running backs that can run a little bit, so he was sticky. He looked sticky. I didn't see enough to come out here and have like a pound my chest and have a crazy conclusion or anything.
I thought you was about to go ham in here.
Well, he played 30 snaps. Was kind of limited to second downs. They had him off the field on third downs. They were putting Ellis in on third and longs when they wanted to blitz and have another guy out there, and they were putting PJ Williams out there on some third downs, going to dime packages.
Yeah.
So I thought they used him in a role that worked for him. He'll build up off it probably, and I thought it was solid. I thought he looked. You
could tell he's smart though. Like that, it just
he sees the field well.
You could tell that he's smart. You could tell he's smart.
He gets to where he needs to go. We'll see if he ends up on what it looks like when there's a burner, if he gets confused by something. We'll see.
Right.
There's a lot we got to learn about him, but I think game one, the whole time, the thing was, hey, he's going to be solid. I thought he was solid, and I thought he looked exactly how I thought he was going to look, and we'll see. There's 15, 14 more of these. We'll see how he does, but
yeah.
I liked what I saw.
Good start. Yeah. Good start. I mean, listen, I want him. If he's good, then I wasn't the biggest fan of the pick. You guys know I called it straight, but just from seeing him play, I'm like, you could like. One thing I thought, I was like, okay, he's gonna be a good player. Like his floor, like okay, I think I can see his floor. You're not gonna get a guy who. Like I don't think you're gonna have like a
Bond game. I don't think you're gonna have like a week 2 Bond game with him.
Oh, I was about to say Bond. He went from like linebacker 2 or maybe a high 3 to like 5.
I just don't think that you're gonna have that week 2 game from Warner.
I don't think he's capable. Yeah, not capable. That's the wrong word. But that you're exactly right. Like he just
sees things too well to end up in some of those situations.
Yeah. So I know you guys are probably getting some coffee or something in the morning. So just tell him I said what's up. I'm sorry, and I'm rooting for him.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about you and Pete going to get some coffee in the morning. Just tell him I'm sorry.
On, man. It's not like that. It's not like that. No, it's just one of those things where I thought the takes were too strong on him. And
I know.
I had a different opinion. So I almost it's kind of like politics, man. I got forced into a stronger stance than I wanted to be on. Like I didn't want to be like tied in with this guy's success. And honestly, when like I got a good indication that he was going to play last week, and I was like nervous.
Mhm.
I was nervous for the game, man, because I was like, if this guy
Don't let
goes
me
out and
down,
plays
Pete.
terrible, like people are going to be coming at me.
So did you text him and say, "Bro, I got a lot riding on this. My career,
Come on,
I need
man.
you to play
No.
well." No. Oh, all
No,
right. Just a
nothing like that. But
question. It's just a question.
I don't even know the man like that. I've talked to him like one time in a group setting. So
I know.
I mean,
I'm just making. I'm making fun.
no,
of you,
like
man.
I ended up in a stronger position than I wanted to be in with him, because it was just the opinions against him. And I'm lumping you in there. I'm kind of faulting you a little bit. You kind of,
word.
yeah. I mean, you were with everybody, and I just felt like I had to take a stronger stance. And I was the one guy standing out here, so I kind of put it on you. But look, it's one game. I'm not claiming a victory or anything here. Like, we kind of saw the opposite ends with Peyton Turner. He had an amazing debut. This game was pretty silent, and I think the arm affected him. He's out there with the brace. There were a couple things where I kind of felt like that affected him.
He's not good
a
enough
little
to
bit.
play through an injury like that. Yeah, he's not good enough to play through a limitation physically yet, right? Like when you're young, you can't. Like Armstead can play without a chest. He got one chest, no elbow, and a half a wrist, and he can go out there and be all pro, right? Because he knows the game well enough to compensate. And
he's going against an extremely sound team, good linemen too. I mean, we'll see how it goes. It might be tough this week too. It's going to be up and down though. I mean, that's a rookie player. Everybody, Pete Werner's going to have up and downs. You see Adebo having up and downs within the same game. The way he handles them is amazing.
I like him though, bro. I like the way. I just like when he get beat. He's like, all right, next play. It's like instant forget. Like he don't remember what he did yesterday.
You ever watch one of his interviews?
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I have.
He's just kind of like that in his interviews too. It's just
he's boring. No, I said he's boring. I don't even like to listen to it. He's not saying anything, which makes me, as I see him on the field, I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Just his whole demeanor is just flat.
It is, bro. It is.
And that's probably a defense mechanism to some extent with the media.
But true. That's probably
but
true.
It just kind of feels like that's just how he's just kind of like. He's just on a line, man, and whatever happens. He's going to deal with it, and
yeah. No, I can see it. Like, hey, Adebo, you got beat on that touchdown. Well, it's one play. I'm gonna get better. Yeah, but you had the interception. Yeah, it's one play. I can't get too high on it. It's just like, just he's at 0, right? He never goes above or below the line. So yeah, but yeah, I was glad to see Pete Mr. Warner have a good game. So yeah, looking forward to that. Man, so here's one of my takes. I think Ohio State players, okay, once you pay them, they get better. I'm just saying, like Marshawn, I don't know why Marshawn was so locked in to play the Patriots, because he's never been locked in to see Jacoby Myers, Benton. I don't even know the wide receiver's name.
Nelson Aguilar.
I don't even see Aguilar on the field. Like, did he? He was just like invisible. And Marshawn is on Twitter talking about, I gave up too many yards. Like, no, you didn't, bro. The one play you gave up for 13, they didn't give you your assignment. The other play you gave up, it was 4th and 16, and you gave up the 13 for free and tackled him in front. That was an elite game, bro. You didn't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's out of his mind.
Amazing. He looks amazing right now. Yeah. No, he's.
So, question for you: is this the best you've seen him look?
I can't say that. I mean, the rookie year he was on a run. A really good run for a while there.
He went on the run.
And there's been individual games where I thought he looked like a Hall of Fame caliber player.
I think talent-wise, he's like, he could be whatever he want to be.
Absolutely.
Got to make that decision.
Yeah, I mean, he's off to a great run. I think he's as locked in as I've seen him. I wrote that story in camp that I thought he was locked in as I ever seen him, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that right now.
Yeah. I definitely think
these are the games where you would expect to let down. Rookie quarterback, bad wide receivers.
Right. It's like you're more worried about Jacoby Myers than Devontae Adams. It's like Jacoby Myers, Marshawn don't even know him. He goes to like 150 on him, and Devontae doesn't even make a catch against him. So
looks incredible, man. Honestly, he really does. Yeah.
And just guys, again, it's in the film study article. You guys go, check it out. But it's just one play where he was following this guy on this crossing route, and
it's amazing, man.
He just sped up after the guy started moving horizontally and just broke up the ball. I'm like, was he holding back on his speed or something? Like, is he toying with this guy? Like, it was just a ridiculous.
He's
route.
always baited throws. He's always baited
He did
throws.
it in college too,
Yeah,
didn't he?
no,
Yeah.
and he leans on that closing speed to make plays. I
Yeah.
mean, he's always done it, and
Yeah.
he's
good, man.
he's amazing, man. He really is.
Yeah,
Like
when you
when
say
he's
like best player
when
on
he's
the
on
team,
it,
yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
he might be.
No, I'm
He might be.
Talk.
No, he might be the best player on the team. He might be. But when he's locked in, he's the best. I mean, he's the best player on the team.
Yeah, because the talent level takes him above.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. So I think that he's the most important player on this defense. I'll say that. I think he's the most important player on this defense. I think DeMario. I guess what I'm saying is, corner can change the field. A cornerback can change the field more than any other player. You can block a defensive lineman with a couple of guys. You can chip him, a linebacker. He's not really covering wide receivers, right? But when you talk about like just stopping a team's offense, which in the NFL is mostly driven by the pass, like the fact that he can just take your best wide receiver and just make him, put him on the bench. I just think that gives you more value than any other position, basically, on the team. Maybe other than the quarterback, obviously, but yeah, I just think what he's doing in that position it gives them a larger margin for error defensively. Here's one for you. So, do you think that? Well, how do you see and I'm putting them against each other because it's more fun that way. The Paulson Adebo versus the Roby, who's getting the most snaps, who's starting, and when Crawley returns, how do you think he factors into that?
I'd take my time with Crawley just because of how well the secondary is playing, and you don't necessarily need. You can hold on to a roster spot for a few more weeks if you got to, and I don't think there's any pressing need to get him back out there. That position's gotten so deep so quick. It's kind of crazy. He went from CB2 to CB3, 4,
bro.
4 at least. I mean, he's at least 4.
Is
Trufant ahead of him? I don't know where he's at with Trufant.
I forgot, but he this game. Like,
Crawley had a really good camp, man, and that's like there's no disrespect there. Like I had a period where I felt like if he was a new player with no background, I felt good about him in that spot. It's kind of when you added in the scars and everything that you kind of
scars.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? Like it's just the underbelly or whatever. You kind of know it's there and
yeah, that's real. That's
frames your conversation that way. What was the question?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, how do you see the Roby versus Adebo competition like going forward? Do you think that like Roby is he still ramping up and eventually, you think he overtakes that? Or you think, hey, this guy's a rookie, he's playing too well, we can't take him off, he's going to get better, and just, when Crawley returns? I think you already addressed Crawley, but just more Roby Adebo.
I think you're fine either way, honestly. I mean, it's like, who cares, and people keep asking like, hey, like, was that a bad trade? No, it's not a bad trade. If you don't need him now, you'll need him later. And
what if Marshawn gets hurt next week?
It's you got him for Terry Fontenot, half of the Terry Fontenot compensation, sort of. I mean, because you get that pick back. It's not the comp pick, it's the real pick. So it's a few picks later, but it's a gimme third round pick that helps your team now, gives you depth at a position where you almost always need depth at some point. And there still is the looming possibility, lurking in the shadows of something happening with Marshawn, and you got to deal with that possibly. The hope is it doesn't come this season, but nobody can guarantee that at this point. That's no. The NFL can't control what a court process plays out or anything like that. So I mean, the timing of that's going to be whatever it is. So you gotta at least be prepared for that possibility, and you can't let something like that take down your season. And all of a sudden, I think that they got the players to endure a couple games if they got to. It's just crazy, man. That was like such a big fear, and then they got lucky with it. Let's be real. They got lucky with the Adebo. Nobody was drafting Adebo thinking he was a day one starter.
That's true.
They drafted him and they said immediately, hey, there's developmental stuff that has to happen. And all of a sudden he's here, and you started camp. He was behind P-Rob. He was behind Crawley. And now he's up here. They traded for Bradley Roby, and Roby can't knock him off the field yet.
That's crazy, bro. And Roby's a legit, to me, and I stand about it, he's a legit number 2 corner.
Good player.
He's a good player, man. Like if I had Roby on one side and Marshall on the other, I think I'm fine at corner. Now, I'm not saying he's a shut down corner, but he's near number 2, right? You got, Goat Sean Lattimore on one side of the field, so you don't. Wait, did I just come up with something?
I don't know. I don't know. You might have.
I think
I don't know if I ever heard that one before.
Goat Sean Lattimore. Hey guys, tag me, give me my TM at the end of it. Flamus Winston, that didn't work out. James was saying he got it. He'll get that name back once he have another good game or something. But all right, Goat Sean Lattimore. That's NewOrleans.Football. It's like one of those companies. Like when I work in tech, if I invent something, the company that I'm working for they get credit for it. So,
yeah, you created that on company equipment right there, man.
Exactly.
You should have been using your own mic. You can't do that on my. Because that's how it works, right? Like if you do something on like an Apple computer, even in your off time, it's Apple's property. Yeah, that's stickers on the mic, man. There's video evidence. So
it's your hat, your mic, your podcast. Right. I don't even want to tweet nothing no more. Well, I'm telling you, I told y'all this is an abusive relationship. Oh man. All right. So before we can gosh, how long have we been recording? We're over an hour at this point. It's all good. It's raining crazy here, so I haven't lost my connection. Just talk about the safety play, man. I just want to finish. I want to give like some guys their flowers this week, just because I know the narrative was going to be a little negative. I thought Malcolm played a heck of a game. And I thought Marcus Williams, you can't let this dude out the building. You got to sign him. I don't know what you're going to do with the cap. Re-sign Drew and create some debt years or something. You got to keep Marcus Williams on this team.
It's going to be tough if he goes, man. It's going to be tough if he goes. He's so good. He's a difference maker.
Oh
you see it on so many plays, and it's plays in the box now too. He crashes down.
Yeah.
He's become like a 3D player. I don't know how else to put it, but it's multiple directions, and he should just kind of be backwards. Now it's forward too.
Yeah,
he's so good. The Malcolm signing was
man, wow,
incredible timing too. I mean, they got lucky on that. Like the Von Bell deal was done. Pretty much agreed to verbal terms.
Yeah,
they're just trying to haggle over a little bit more, and then he gets released, and that conversation has to go the other direction.
Boom.
One of the best things that happened to this team, honestly.
Yeah, because he's the leadership and the play, so you're getting both.
The play. Yeah. No, his ability and coverage. Like Vaughn was good. I'm not disparaging Vaughn here. Vaughn was good at what he did, but he wasn't Malcolm in coverage. He just wasn't.
He'll never be Malcolm in coverage, probably either. Yeah. Malcolm was a college cornerback guy, so don't and he's played slot at points in his career. Ryan made a good little comp on Malcolm Jenkins. He's like, man, he's kind of remind me like the late career Charles Woodson, where he's just like a smart dude who knows what to do, and he's been able to like be smart and play well like later into his career by moving, Woodson moved from corner to safety, but Malcolm is a safety and kind of was a corner at the start. But I thought that was a little bit of an interesting, not at the same level because one guy's a Hall of Famer, but that is a somewhat good comp there.
He's elevated his game a lot too. I think being in the system around these players has helped him play even better too. I mean, there wasn't as much talent in Philadelphia, and I think just kind of being in the system has helped lift him up. And I think that's true for everybody on the team, really. I mean,
absolutely,
just the strength of that whole group, because you can just really focus on your area of the field, and you don't really have to worry when you got DeMario there holding everything down underneath. Like you don't have to worry about, hey, what's going to happen here? Like, is this guy going to be able to cover it? He can cover it. And they're smart. They'll be in position. And I just think that, all around the defense, every spot, you can kind of.
Tano Passanjo, I mean, no one was rushing to sign this guy. The Saints didn't have a bunch of money. And he's, he comes and plays for them. And he's like, I'm like, man, he looks better than some guys who probably got a lot more money. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think just the talent on this team, the coaching. I think the coaching is a big part of it. But I just feel like when you come on this team, you just kind of feel like guys are going to elevate their level. And I think that's, probably has a lot to do with maybe a Debo playing well too, even though corner is a little different because you are like a little bit more isolated in other positions. But, I just think, they're not going to put him somewhere where he's just going to get scorched, and he knows he has help and good guys around him, and it kind of like probably allows him to play a little bit better. So, all right, man, I think I saw a comment. I just want you
what other podcast right here? We got a comment here. My best game in high school was against Chuck Woodson, who was a running back, Great Lakes League, Northwest Ohio. Who else got podcast commenters and listeners that dunked on Chuck Woodson in high school?
Yeah. Let me know. And who? How many 4-3 40 guys we got in here?
Oh
P?
my God,
Trying
man.
to find
All right,
trying to find my competition.
yeah.
I'm trying to see who wants that smoke. All right, man. Well, that's gonna be it for us, guys. We went 66 minutes and 12 seconds. So
You listen to this, sign up for the site, support the site.
please, man,
Do it.
please. I ain't too proud to beg, man. You know, this is why we do the pod, man. We do the pod to support NewOrleans.Football. Nick got the second cutest dog you'll ever see. You know, we got to make sure she got like everything she needs in her life. She's a perfect little girl. That's my niece. You know, I'm just trying to help out the Underhill family, man. So, but I was here to support my guy. He does this all by himself. Nick, you can leave now. I'll talk about you for a little bit, but but yeah, make sure you guys go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Okay, link will be in the show notes. And sign up. If you're not signed up and you listen to this pod and you like what you hear, well, you get 2 more pods, right? So it's like you get this and you get 2 more where we just talk about everything that's on the site and what's in the articles. And, you know, we just try not to talk. I know I mentioned a lot. I'm trying to talk about it because it's not fair to the people that, you know, do support. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. But yeah, we appreciate any support, you know, like, subscribe on the YouTube page, or that's really, really, really helpful. And that costs nothing. Same thing for a podcast review. So if you can't give financial support, we understand times are, you know, a little bit weird right now, but that free stuff, man, you know, I don't want to hear no excuse. So, man, we'll be back on Friday for the members only pod. So, if you guys got any like spicy hot topics that you want us to talk about, as always, DM me. And, you know, if it's good enough and I find you worthy, I'll put it in the pod. So with that said, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. We out.